When do you need a new pair of shoes?
Let's find out.
Welcome to What's in My Shoe, the show where we talk all things feet and no subject is off limits. Today I have my usual cohorts, Dr. Lockwood and Dr. Zane Risby,
Hello.
and we have our first special guest. Yay. We've got Julie Sibley from Fleet Feet Sports here in Bloomington. Thanks for coming, Julie.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
What we're going to do today is take a look at when it's time to get a new pair of shoes. Let's kind of discuss what types of things can be happening that would make us think about getting a new pair of shoes.
And what we can learn from our shoes depending on the wear.
This is New Year, New Shoes. So to simulate everyday wear month after month, we're going to use this grinder. And we're going to grind off some part of this shoe. Doctor, tell me where you want me to grind off.
I think you've already started.
I've already started there. Should we put on safety goggles for safety?
Sure.
I will. You guys can take your own eyesight into your own
No,
hands.
you're a guest, so you take one.
All right, I want to make sure my eyes
I'm
are
good.
protected.
I'm all right.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because you're closer to him.
All right.
So, and I'm like,
I
I'll just
would
stay back
be
here.
leery of the power tools that he's using.
So I'm just going to grind away. So what would this mean on the outside of the shoe if it's ground down like that?
So typically when you have wearing to the outside of the shoe, that's a lot more than maybe the inside or even the ball of foot, that can tell us that a patient has a high arch foot, or what we like to call supination. Yeah. So when someone has a lot of wearing to the inside part of the arch or even along that big toe joint, patients will often be more flat-footed and they may actually have something called pronation.
Okay, I think I'm going to show pronation right now. Is that correct? Yeah. All right, so let me...
Let's re-goggle.
Goggle, please.
Re-goggle.
Re-goggle,
Okay.
because God knows me and power tools don't go together. So inside, we want to do the inside. Same thing. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Inside the shoe. So what would that be on the inside, guys?
Well, Julie, do you want to kind of answer that one?
So that one would be pronation. Mm-hmm. So somebody's leaning to the inside, and that's usually something we look for when we're trying to fit someone. And I would like to clarify that these shoes did not come from Fleet Feet.
That's a
very good point.
So let's back up a little bit. What would be in the structure of a really well composed shoe?
So the materials are just going to be a little bit more high quality and a little bit more durable. So as people do tend to supinate and pronate, they're not going to break down as fast.
Right. Well, we'll often tell patients, and I think Dr. Risby can attest to this, is that we'll say that the shoe is always step one. And then if they're not feeling good in the shoe, if they've got a correct shoe, not some of the ones we see come in the office, if they're having a good shoe, then what we're doing is just extra above it, where we're correcting them mechanically even beyond what the shoe is doing.
Absolutely.
Because
adding an insole would be a great next step.
But these have memory foam insoles.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're not supporting in any way.
Correct. Dr. Risby, do you want to talk about those insoles?
Yeah, and so like you said, if you have like a good shoe with good quality material, you're still going to break down. It's just going to take longer. And the reason you're going to break down is because your mechanics aren't being corrected with inserts. And so these inserts really aren't doing that much. It's just padding.
So we actually call those sock liners. We don't call them inserts because they're not correcting anything.
They're
not.
That. Yeah,
and then what happens when patients come in and they have custom orthotics already?
We love them. Those are our favorite patients because we know that they've been fit properly, they've seen a foot doctor, and so we're just going to work with them and their custom orthotics to find the right shoes.
So now we're going to grind through as if you've got a bunion on this foot here. So safety first, as usual. Oh, that was my finger.
I know, that's what we're...
Okay, that's a more accurate representation of what can happen, but this is pretty typical. And I think that, Julie, can you kind of comment to this? If when you see shoes that are wearing this way or even with the baby toe that way, what does that tell you?
That often means that perhaps we can look at a wider shoe. Toes are not supposed to poke through the upper of a shoe, so we do want to maybe look at replacing it. Nowadays, the materials of a lot of shoes are actually accommodating for bunions. Back in the day, there used to be a lot of sewn seams there that were really uncomfortable for patients. But nowadays, this one is a seamless upper. So
fancier than you expected.
It is fancier than I expected. So their toe may not have poked in there. But definitely, wider shoes sometimes or just a nice seamless upper can accommodate for bunions.
Okay.
So now I'm going to simulate a Tailors bunion. Is that correct?
Yeah. Tailors Bunions are smaller, so it's a little baby
That's
bump.
a good one.
How is a Tailors Bunion different than a corn?
So Tailors Bunion happens on a bone that's a little bit further back. It happens on your fifth metatarsal bone. Corns and then calluses are actually the exact same thing. It just depends on what surface of the body they're on. If they're on the top or an extensor surface, we call them a corn. And if they're on the bottom, in the flexor surface, we call it a callus. You can get a callus on a Tailors Bunion, but oftentimes you'll see a Tailors Bunion and then a little tiny corn on the toe. They get a hammer toe along with it.
Gotcha, that sounds unpleasant.
It's not fun, but it's really common. I mean, patients will come in and they think that they're the only person that has this issue, and it's super common.
Yeah, generally it's the structure of your foot. The reason you have the Tailors Bunion, so generally patients with the higher arch will get the Tailors Bunion because their foot splay outwards.
Exactly. So Dr. Risby, can you show us the twist test that we try to show our patients?
Oh yeah, so the twist test.
And this is a brand new pair of shoes.
This is a brand new pair of shoes, and so here's a midsole area. You kind of don't want it to twist like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want it to be a lot more supportive. You can probably speak more to that than I can. But if you have a little bit of bend in the toe, that's fine. It's just more in this area. You need way more support than this shoe is providing.
Correct. Now,
Not even that strong, Risby.
Scott's intrigued.
I'm not as strong as you, that's for sure. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Can you kind of describe to us what a good twist test would show?
Not that.
Well, actually, a lot of the shoes that we have at our store have some more supportive elements. That some of them have some plastic pieces. Some of them are built up a little bit more on the inside for people that pronate. So there's more parts to a higher quality shoe than just this piece of very twistable foam. Most shoe brands actually have your good, better, and best shoes. And so the things that you're going to find at our store are going to be better and best. Some of the big box stores do have those good shoes, the good brands. But along with the higher price point, you just get higher quality materials. You get more comfort, and at the end of the day, a lot of times comfort is king too. So if you're going to be in these shoes for a long time, you really want to be comfortable.
How often do you recommend that they change out their shoes?
So we are a running store, so we measure in miles. So we usually tell people 300 to 500 miles. Some shoes are a little bit less if they're more performance-based. Some shoes are a little bit more, and it just also depends on the person and the kind of wear and tear on them. So for the average person, at least a year, you should get out of most shoes.
Okay. What about if they purchase it from a big box store?
It could just vary depending on how often you're walking, how often you're running, and just the level and quality of the foam that it was made with.
Yeah.
So.
Our athletes, I think, really listen to that advice. I mean, we give the same exact advice. What about our weekend warriors? It says Scott smile. That's basically Scott.
They can probably get a little bit more wear, but at the end of the day, you just want to listen to your body. If your knees are starting to hurt, if your back is starting to hurt, if you're just feeling a little off, it's probably time to replace your shoes sooner.
And I can imagine you could most likely see wear and tear on the outside parts of the
Absolutely.
shoe, and if you start seeing that, it's time to...
Well, speaking of that, guys,
Switch.
I have a surprise. It's not in.
Oh.
I have a
Boy.
pair of my old shoes that
God.
I had shown them previously, and they all
We're aghast.
flipped out of how bad these are. So, what was wrong with me, and how?
So let's show
Terrible
first what
is
that
that?
looks like. So
That's not. They don't curve that way. Let's put it that way.
And
They're
this-
supposed to be flat.
when these were brand new, so these were a Christmas gift to you in 2015. So yeah.
More than you.
Yeah, so Scott's got a lot of wear on these. This is a pair that originally had a significant amount of support across here, but I would dare say someone was wearing these without his orthotics on.
A lot,
Yeah.
probably.
I mean, that's. But
How
that
many
is.
pairs of orthotics do you have?
I have a lot.
Right. And
So that is supination, correct?
well, yes, but
But
that is your foot is so
So I'm basically you're telling me I'm basically if I flatten this out, I'm basically walking like that
correct
in those shoes.
because you're compensating for what's happening at the front of your foot. If you notice, you've got a significant amount of wearing up there. So when your heel hits the ground in an attempt to try to keep you on balance, it shifts to the outside. You actually have a flatter foot. You're not truly supinating. That's compensation. So that shoe, where was that found?
In my closet, I do not wear this anymore.
Why
but-
don't you wear it anymore?
Because it hurts.
Right. Okay.
Because it's not supporting you.
Because
in
apparently
any way.
I walk like with my
You
ankles
walk
all
like Fred Flintstone.
all turned in.
Yeah. And again, were you wearing your orthotics when you wore these shoes? No.
My guess is maybe some of the time, but probably more than likely I was wearing a pair of Power Steps in them at the time.
And as you can see, the Power Steps are not going to change your function, so your shoe is still going to wear down.
Just don't wear those.
Don't wear those. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't wear these anymore. They were quite dusty. I had to clean them off. So we found them in the
okay.
closet, so.
Okay. So I think my last question, Julie, what should a person do if they're looking for a new pair and they're interested in starting a new exercise plan?
Well, you definitely, before you start any exercise program, you want to get the right gear to make you successful. So start with your feet, start with the rest of your clothes, and yeah, come get fit properly for shoes. And then, I mean, you can join a program at Fleet Feet. We have them
Right.
all year long, and definitely start slow and build up over time. And there are some great apps, some Couch to 5K apps. So whatever's going to help you be successful to get from point A to point B.
Do you find that you have a lot of people coming in at the beginning of the year?
So honestly, not as many as you would think. I
Okay.
think a lot of people do sometimes gravitate towards the gyms. They're not ready to get outside in the cold. We did just start a new Couch to 5K program, so we have a group going right now. But I do see a lot of people also joining the gyms without getting the right footwear first.
We see that too.
And and then they're not successful because they're not comfortable. So I think making sure your feet are in check, always see a doctor first before you start up any exercise program, and then you can get going and be on the right track.
Great. Anything else you want us to know about Fleet Feet? Location? Because we're really close to our office.
Plug away, Julie. This is your shot.
We're
Plug.
really close to you guys. We appreciate our relationship. We love when you refer us patients, and they can always come and visit us, and we can walk and we can run together. You don't have to be a runner to come see our store. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
We're a running shoe store, but we love just feet and making people comfortable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you.
being
Thanks
our,
for the invite.
our inaugural special guest. We're so
I'm really
excited
glad I
have
got to
you.
watch this happen. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching this episode of What's in My Shoe. Be sure to follow Julie on Facebook, Fleet Feet on Facebook. Great store behind Krispy Kreme, ironically, of all
Yes.
things. So I love that they're behind Krispy Kreme on Krispy Kreme Drive. But be sure to follow her, give her page a like, go into her store. It's an awesome place. We love Julie and we love Fleet Feet. So be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, so you get notified next time we go live again for another show of What's in My Shoe. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
If you like this video,
Be sure to leave a comment below, like the video, and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also check out our Facebook page and like that as well so you get notified the next time we go live. All right, everybody. Thanks. Bye.
I'm gonna be famous.
Bye-bye.